head. So while you're heading into your safe space, you want to grab something that can help to aid in protecting your head, whether that be a helmet or even a pillow. Grab something, kneel down low, and protect your head from what is potentially a radar indicated a tornado. I'm going to show you on here some of the features that we use to sort of help to indicate where this area of rotation is. So right here, we're seeing this red and green couplet sort of here, and this is a spot of indication of rotation. So again, this is moving towards the east at 40 miles per hour, and this is radar indicated. So we don't have yet verification that this potential system could be on the ground. However, there is some clear signs right here of where exactly we could be potentially be looking at a potential radar indicated rotation with this system. Very strong returns we're picking up on here with this radar. Again, the velocity map is a good indication for us to be able to see where rotation is likely. We're looking at a couplet, a very, very small space here where we have winds going away from the radar site and towards the radar site on a very small scale. So again, I'm going to jump back to the radar, which we're very familiar with seeing when we talk about that rainfall. And in fact, it's continuing to move towards the east at 40 miles per hour. So anywhere in this polygon to the east of where we're seeing these bright reds, bright yellow returns is a space where you want to be weather aware and get in your safe space now. Now I'm going to put some queries on here on timing of things so you can get a better idea of when exactly this thing could be moving into your area. So let me just move in a little bit here so you guys can see me. For those of you who are just tuning in, this is been a tornado warning that has been issued for northern portions of Surry County until 2:15 p.m. The National Weather Service issued this because a thunderstorm around 1:49 p.m., a severe storm capable of producing a tornado, was located over Pine Ridge or near Mount Airy, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Again, reminding you that this is a radar indicated tornado. We don't have confirmation whether or not this thing is on the ground, but the radar is indicating that a possible tornado is in this space. So I'm going to show you guys some timing here on things so you guys can potentially see when exactly this thing is going to be moving into your area. So let me put some queries on here for you. I'm going to zoom out and see if I can show you guys some query on some time. So we're moving east at 40 miles per hour. So let's take a look at this. So if you are in Shelton, 2:20 p.m. is when the system could be moving into your area. Again, this is radar indicated, so that's roughly 20 minutes away, but that doesn't mean you don't get into your safe space now. That is when you want to start to move into your safe space. Now, where would that exactly be? So that means getting into the lowest level of your home and grabbing something to protect your home. A lot of times, often meteorologists will recommend grabbing a helmet or even a pillow, just something to make sure your head is protected in the event that there's any flying debris and this tornado, radar indicated as of now, does in fact hit the ground and potentially be a cause of concern for anyone in this area. So again, this tornado, potential radar indicated tornado, is moving towards the east at 40 miles per hour. So I'm going to zoom in really tight here so you guys can see a better idea of what locations need to be on alert. So right now, even just zooming out very quickly, we're starting to see not as much of an impressive look as it did just a couple moments ago. So what again you're looking for, I'm going to just show you some key things here, is what you're looking to see is possibly, I'm going to step and see, what you're possibly looking to see is where you see the greens and the reds very close together. We're seeing that right here over 77 just a couple minutes ago. We saw a very good look at it right here. But as we sort of move forward in time, we're no longer kind of seeing that very tight couplet working together to kind of indicate that this potentially could be a tornado, which is a good sign for folks in northern Surry County. Again, that does not mean if you are just ahead of where this polygon is showing the system is headed towards, you shouldn't be in your safe space now. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer for those of you who are in northern Surry County to just be weather aware. So again, Mount Airy, you should be in your safe space. Now I'm going to zoom in really tight here. If you see your street popping up on the screen just at this moment, this means it's your time now to get in your safe space. If you're a friend who knows someone who lives in this area, call them right now. Pick up the phone and say, there's a tornado warning that has been issued for your area and you need to get into your safe space now. Again, for those of you who are tuning in saying, what is going on here right at this moment? Well, a tornado warning has been issued until 2:15 p.m. by the National Weather Service for a radar indicated rotation. Now we do have Eric Chilton who is joining us as well. Eric, what are you seeing?
So I'm going to ask you to kind of drive the bus here, Monique, while we take a look at this. Let's go out to just a slightly wider view. This is Highway 601, which goes from Mount Airy down toward Dobson. And then here's Highway 81 and 52, which is the Andy Griffith Parkway. One thing that Monique talked about that is it's promising news, we'll put it that way, is the fact that this velocity where you see the reds and the greens is not as tight as it was before, which usually means that it's more widespread movement and not such a tight couplet where we're seeing that rotation that would cause a tornado warning. We still have 14 more minutes left on this unless the National Weather Service decides to take that warning down, but this tornado warning is in effect for this part of Surry County. So you can see the line there that really goes all the way up to the Virginia line, because there's Cana, Virginia, right? And then it heads back down 77 toward Dobson. But this is the area that we're concerned with. Basically, it's from Interstate 77 over to Highway 52. And that's kind of what we're looking at. Let's go back to the regular radar just to kind of show you the presentation here. One thing to note, this is moving really fast, right? 40 miles per hour is really hauling it for a thunderstorm. Normally we'll see 20, 25 miles per hour, but 40 means that this thing will probably be all the way over toward Rockingham County and then north into Virginia within the next 20 to 30 minutes probably, because it's moving so fast, and we'll keep an eye on that. This is the line of thunderstorms. Still, that is getting ready to move right through Mount Airy. So if you're familiar with this region, that's the Toast area, an unincorporated area of Mount Airy. Also Bannertown will be feeling that as well in the next little bit. It's possible with the type of thunderstorm activity that we're seeing here that you could have up to an inch in diameter hail. That's huge, right? That can do some damage. I think watch for that and maybe straight line winds as we're not really seeing indication of a tornado yet. We definitely don't have visual confirmation. This is all Doppler indicated, which means we have a certain level of rotation that we look for in the atmosphere, and when that threshold is met, it triggers automatically a tornado warning. So it does not mean that one is on the ground, but if it were to be, it would be in this area approaching downtown Mount Airy right now. At least the thunderstorm cell that triggered the warning, it will be moving through that area. So again, if you're in Westfield, White Plains, or Bannertown, you're going to feel that effect in the next 20 minutes. Maybe White Plains might escape that, but I think this will be heading more to the east and northeast. So some of the southern Virginia cities, even when you head over toward Hillsville and Danville, Virginia, you might see that. It's already past the Galax area, just so you can see. Let's go a little bit wider if we can. Again, this is a Doppler indicated tornado warning, not a confirmation, but our policy is to stay on the air. We've got about 12 more minutes with this. This is all, you can see it's a line here, right? We talked yesterday about this cold front that's working its way through today. So when this goes away in the next few minutes, could we see another one? The answer is yes. It's just, you get the idea. It's not very widespread, right? And we do see a thunderstorm warning, not a tornado, but down south of Hickory and Asheville there on the south of Interstate 40. So we could see more of these develop and just kind of move along the front. Training, we call that, when they develop and move along the cold front as the entire cold front continues to push to the east through the triad. So we may not be finished with this just yet, but when you get into the mountain and foothill communities, sometimes we get a little bit more of that spin going on, and it'll trigger these tornado warnings. Hopefully by the time this gets to the triad, it'll be more in the lines of just severe thunderstorms, we think. Again, one more time, if we can go in tighter to that particular cell, and we're showing you the Mount Airy area, and we can get down to street level if you want to, so you know exactly what's going on here. This is the Andy Griffith Parkway, so really Highway 52. Now we're right into the middle of it. Yep, that's what we were talking about. There's Toast right along 89. And as that moves in, this is kind of the downtown area of Mount Airy, and obviously more population when you get into this neck of the woods than back out to the west. But with that moving at that speed, it'll be through here in no time, right? It'll move through rather quickly. Good and bad news with that, right? Good in that we get it out of here fast. Bad in that anytime those storms are moving at that rate, sometimes that spin is a little more likely to happen. So we'll watch for that. No visual confirmation, at least yet. We're making phone calls on that, trying to find out as we speak. No one has called in and said they saw a funnel cloud, but you have to act as though it is on the ground because we can't get that visual confirmation yet. Again, that area that we're concerned with, if we look at velocity and maybe move this area of instability over a little bit in the middle, yeah, we're not seeing that tight gradient. I don't know. I want to go back to Monique real quick if we can, because when I look at this, Monique, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not seeing that tight couplet anymore that we were seeing about, what, 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago? We'll see if we can get Monique. We might be trying to get her microphone in.
Yes, Eric, you are certainly correct. So what we're looking at here, for those of you who are like, okay, I've seen the radar before where we generally see those reds, those orangey colors that indicate rainfall. What we're looking at right now is velocity. So this helps us to understand the winds, which makes sense when you kind of think about a twister, a tornado. In fact, you see the winds going away from the radar, and then we have winds going towards the radar, kind of setting itself for rotation. Now that's what we're kind of keeping a close eye, particularly on this red and green right here that's heading towards Mount Airy. Again, right inside this red polygon with this tornado warning that has been issued until 2:15 p.m. So again, this is the area specifically we're keeping a close eye on. But as we go forward in time, as the system continues to move towards the east, it's not looking as impressive. The reds aren't looking as bright and the greens aren't looking as brightly green. And so therefore, we're starting to see signs of improvement when we talk about the likelihood of this being a potential tornado. But again, we do not have it confirmed on the ground. This has been radar indicated, meaning we're using our science and the tools that we have here to sort of guesstimate and expect that this possibly could be a tornado, but we don't have it confirmed on the ground, but signs are showing promising things. However, the Storm Prediction Center did have the entire triad and continues to have the triad under a marginal risk for severe weather today, which means severe storms are likely, and that's what we're seeing now, even in northern portions of Surry County. So again, if you are behind anywhere in Surry County, behind where this red and green is, so if you are anywhere just red brush or anywhere behind here, these are the areas no longer in the pocket of concern. But if you are out ahead of it towards the east and the direction in which this storm is moving towards, these are the folks who need to keep an eye out on what to expect. Now I'm going to zoom out here a little bit so you can see the line of storms, like Eric had said just earlier, the line of storms as a whole, kind of showing you where we're seeing other storms develop back in Wilkes County and even further south, none of which have a tornado warning with them, which is good. But again, in the foothill community, when you're moving through those mountains, kind of gives that really good initiation point to allow for storms to pop up. This severe storm warning just popped up just to the south here in Alexander and Caldwell County, out of our area, but you can see where it's headed towards the north and east. Some very strong wind gusts associated with that. We're particularly on the air at the moment for this tornado warning that is moving towards the Virginia state line and out of Surry County, but again, still has that tornado warning with it. And I'm going to jump back into velocity to kind of show you the area that is just showing you some really bright returns here. So regardless of the fact of whether or not this tornado does become confirmed, we are seeing some very strong wind gusts with this. So we're seeing some really gusty winds with this storm, which was a part of that marginal risk for severe weather that was issued with this Storm Prediction Center earlier. They said for any storms we can expect to see today, they will include some very gusty winds. And so that's what we're seeing here. I'm going to read the details once again from the National Weather Service as to associated with this tornado warning that has about 6 minutes on it before it's expired. So around 2:04 p.m., the latest update on this, so just 5 minutes ago, a severe storm capable of producing a tornado was located near Mount Airy, moving east at 40 miles per hour. The potential hazards including a tornado and quarter-size hail. A radar indicated rotation, again, not confirmed on the ground, and I've been keeping a close eye with social media and the chat room with the National Weather Service to see if there's any latest updates as to whether or not this is confirmed on the ground, but no details as of yet. But again, radar indicated. Now you may be asking yourself, okay, I hear you, But what do I do? Well, you want to get to the lowest level of your home and away from windows. This is radar indicated, but the likelihood of it potentially touching the ground is still there. And therefore, if there's any sort of rotation with this, any to other severe weather impacts inside of your home. So we want to make sure that you are protecting your head from any flying debris. So that may even include not only getting to the lowest level, the most inner portion of your home, but also grabbing a helmet, grabbing a pillow, something to protect your head, and crouching down low. So again, this is radar indicated. We do not have a confirmation with this, but we will stay on the air through the entirety of this warning. So I'm going to just go and show you guys a little bit more features, what we're seeing right here on our satellite and radar, because we've been looking at that tornado warning, but as Eric mentioned earlier, a cold front is expected to move through. So we see these two lines on here. We're starting to see these typical afternoon pop-up storms that are extending in our western counties. But then as we look even further west through Tennessee and Kentucky, we do see some more storms starting to line up. Those storms associated with this cold front, we're expected to see even more activity as we move through the latter part of today. We're starting to see more severe thunderstorm warnings pop up with this line extending through western counties of North Carolina. And this was kind of all expected. Now, not necessarily seeing a tornado warning, but we did expect to see severe storms this evening and the afternoon, all associated with that cold front. This air sort of mixing in and allowing for some severe storms to pop up. Now, again, this warning continues for just about 3 more minutes. So hopefully by those 3 minutes, it will expire. I'm going to jump back into the radar. And again, we're not seeing that impressive tight couplet, the reds and greens very close together. What are you thinking, Eric?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Not looking quite as impressive as it did at the beginning of this. Doesn't mean we let our guard down, right? Because we still have a few more minutes here. Unless we see that little red polygon disappear, that means the National Weather Service has canceled it early. Not the case just yet. I want to make a point just to show you that more of these severe thunderstorm warnings are popping up all along this frontal boundary. Technically, the front's a little bit behind this, but it will gradually move through. We had thunderstorms in Greensboro earlier today that were pretty strong. Now these are developing along that frontal boundary and just moving up to the north and east, mimicking the front, basically. This severe thunderstorm warning, that extends way back to the west. I mean, you're looking back way past I-77 up to Cana, Virginia. And then this tornado warning in Surry County just really is the northern and a little bit of the northwest part of the county. So overall, when we look at this, we could see this again. We could see this happen right along the frontal boundary anywhere over the next several hours. The best news is what we mentioned earlier, that it is moving at a pretty good clip. I mean, 40 miles per hour for a strong thunderstorm cell like that, that's really moving right along. Notice every time that radar sweep goes by, right? We process that data quickly, there it goes, and you'll see this all change and shift a little bit. Not seeing as much of, and really for you at home when you look at velocity and you think, what in the world is this? All you need to know is when we see the reds up against the greens. Now notice we're not seeing as much of that together as we did earlier. That usually means winds going in one direction toward the radar, one in the other direction going away, and that shows that rotation for us. So when we look at velocity, we're looking for these areas where the reds and the greens are close together. Not as strong as it was, and it is moving so fast to the east. Now it's in the heart of Mount Airy, and as that pushes on to the east, it'll eventually get over here towards Sheltontown, we think, in Surry County, but it also is lifting a little bit back up to the north. So Mount Airy's here, and then as you head, like King is located just about here, we think this will continue in this direction more, where it moves up over the Virginia line and closer to Martinsville and Danville eventually. But all of these storms will develop along the front and then ride right along the front just like that as we head throughout the afternoon and as that entire frontal boundary moves by. On the backside of that, no worries. We've got great weather for a couple of days, actually probably through most of the weekend too. But this is the front that we'll watch very closely. And look at this, Monique, I'm thinking we only have about a minute or so till we see this expire. But overall, I think we're going to have to watch some of these cells as they move north. Maybe in Davie County, let's say that in the next couple of hours, we'll just keep an eye on it. And I do believe, let's see if we can go in tighter, we just saw that expire. Yes, they have let the tornado warning expire now, the Blacksburg, Virginia office, which governs that part of our viewing area from the National Weather Service standpoint, has let that tornado warning expire. And I think at this point, we're looking at severe thunderstorm winds, possibly wind gusts that could do a little bit of damage. Hail has been detected within the system as big as an inch in diameter. At least that's what that storm is capable of producing. Not that we've seen that, but we'll have to watch that in lightning strikes. That's probably the ballpark that we're seeing for the next hour or so. If we see any more in the way of tornado warnings, we of course will break into programming. Right now, let's take you back to our regularly scheduled programs.